I'm joined now by Danielle McLaughlin, a political analyst and attorney. She's in our New York studio for us. Danielle, good to see you. Your verdict of last night?
You know, it really was the battle of the progressives versus the pragmatists. We saw last night with the battles over healthcare, immigration and trade, the choices that Democratic voters have to make coming up in the primary. Do they go with a Warren or a Sanders who have big ideas for transformational change in the United States, or do they go with more of a moderate who wants incremental change, which might be more appealing to the general electorate and maybe possibly a better idea and a better grounds for beating Donald Trump?
Danielle, who do you think had the strongest performance, though?
I think Elizabeth Warren hit it out of the park, and Bernie Sanders, there was a lot of pointing and gesticulating, which is often the way we see him in a podium. He was criticised at the last debate for being a little bit low energy, so he really came out swinging as well. The two progressive candidates really were pitted against some of the far less known moderates, and they were forced to defend their policy positions, but I think they did a really good job.
Danielle, there's a lot of talk about the struggle for the soul of the party, what they actually stand for. Do you think we're closer to knowing that after last night?
I don't think so, in all honesty. The issue with US politics is that primary voters tend to be at the ends of the spectrum politically, and that happens on both ends, both Republican and Democratic. But of course, the general electorate tends to be more in the middle. And so candidates, whether you are left or right, have this constant problem whereby you have to win a primary to get to the general, but then of course you have to win the general to beat Donald Trump.
So, Danielle, when the moderates argue that some of these left-wing progressive policies could actually hurt the Democrats at the polls, are they right then?
Yeah, they are. I think healthcare is one really clear example. An overwhelming majority of Americans like their government-run scheme, if they have it, which is Medicare or Medicaid. If they are on private insurance, they also, an overwhelming majority of Americans like those plans. So the Sanders and the Warrens of the world want to take that healthcare from about 150 million people, at least on the employer insurance side, and put all Americans into a Medicare for all. And that is not generally popular. It's quite popular with Democrats at about 75%, but with the rest of America, most people don't want to see that kind of upset. So that will be a very easy target for Donald Trump, who will say, you know, Obama told you could keep your doctor, you couldn't keep your doctor under Obamacare. This is going to be 100 times worse.
And tonight, Joe Biden had a poor performance last time. He needs to come out swinging tonight, surely.
Yeah, I mean, exactly with the same as with Bernie Sanders. I think his people got to him and told him you were too low energy. I think the attack from Kamala Harris was really unexpected. She saw a bump in the polls, which seems to have dissipated. And I am sure that Joe Biden will be fighting out there. He's leading in two polls yesterday by about 30 points, by about 13 or 15 points with about 33% approval. So he's very clearly in the lead, but the lead is his to lose. You know, there are 19 other people at least who want to see him toppled.
Absolutely, and the sort of ongoing clash about how to beat President Trump. In your opinion, for the Democrats to win in 2020, who is it that they need to win over?
Well, they have to win over white working class women who were supportive of Trump but are leaving him. They need to win over suburban women. The core of Donald Trump's his base is the white working class. Democrats have historically done extremely well with African American and Hispanic voters. So from a voter bloc perspective, they need to work into the white working class, which is actually a constituency that Bill Clinton won. So they need to win that back. And actually the Obama voters that Trump took from Hillary Clinton in 2016.